Hey there friends, today I'm going to be creating a brand new Traveler's Notebook spread using the Magical Memories Volume 2 and Title Builder Volume 6 Simply Magic collections. I have two photos here. One is sized at about 3 by 4 with a white border. The other is sized at about 4.5 by 8.5 inches. So what I'm going to be creating is a traveler's notebook spread that goes outside of the pocket, right? Because I want to be able to make this as large as possible. So I will literally punch the holes onto this spread to put it in my album without any plastic page protectors. And that's just because I want it to be as wide as possible. So I'm taking this pink pattern, which I just love, this pink grid from the Magical Memories paper stack. I like it because it has a bit of color, but it's also nice and soft. It is a subtle pattern, so you're able to journal on top of it and still be able to see your journaling really easy. It's just a really great pattern to use for a background. So I'm cutting the left side to 4.5 by 8.5. Now on the right side, I'm just placing my large photo, but I accidentally put in my photo about 1/4 of an inch too small. So you can see there that I have all that white space on the left and the bottom. So all I'm going to do is cover that up with a little bit of this pattern, and that's going to draw your eye across the page to the continuation of that pattern, and then you're going to have my photo. Now that bottom white area is going to be covered by what I'm going to do next, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to use the brand new Magical Memories stamp to stamp a really fun pattern along the bottom. Now, if you are a Disney fan, especially Disneyland, you will recognize this pattern, or these patterns, I should say, as It's a Small World. And the cool thing about Disneyland, which is our favorite park, is that the outside of It's a Small World is really grand and beautiful. It's white and gold, and it has these kind of patterns all over it. So I'm grabbing my Close to My Heart inks here. I'm using a Lagoon first, and what I'm going to do is stamp the exact same pattern across, but I'm going to change up the colors. You'll see what I mean here in just a second. I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers stamping tool. And that is because these are brand new stamps, and I just want to make sure that I get a really nice impression every time. So for my first one, I'm using Star and the Lagoon. I stamped it 3 times because I wanted to make sure I filled in all those spaces. Now, if you really hit these stamps up really well with erasers, you may not have to do that. But I always think that a stamping press when you're using brand new stamps is a great idea. You'll also notice here that you don't always get it perfectly lined up. You might have that bottom edge a little bit misaligned. But when I go to cut out this border, you're not going to notice that at all. I'm just going to trim that away. So I started again with the star because I'm using 5 different colors and I have 4 different designs. I'm switching up the colors. So now I'm starting with the red star and then I'm going to the teal again. So I'm using, the colors in the same order, but I have 5 colors and 4 patterns. So it kind of mixes it up. I really like that. So the star isn't teal all the way across and the diamonds go from yellow to gray. So you can see here that I had to kind of flip this around on my platform because I'm using a 6x6 platform, and I want to do this pattern all of the way across, so that I'm creating one border that I can then cut in half to place on my traveler's notebook spread. But really, these have so much potential. These little designs, you could do so many fun things with them. You could do an entire page background. But look here how I am going to just do a little trimming action here. I'm going to trim like a 16th of an inch, right, off of the edge so that you don't notice at all that I might have, misaligned those shapes. Now look how fun that looks against that pink background too. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere my pink grid to a piece of just plain white cardstock. And I'm doing that because this is going outside of the page protector. So I want that to be really nice and rigid, easy to flip, nothing's going to fall off of it, that sort of thing. So what I want to make sure here is that across the spread, I line up that grid. So it's a seamless transition from the left page to the right. There we go. Perfect. Then I'm going to take my border on the bottom, and to make sure that this goes all the way across without any breaks, I'm going to adhere it to both pages at once and then cut it apart. I just love those colors down there. Love them. I mean, there's not that many colors in my photo, so I can do kind of whatever I want on this page, and just having all of those beautiful colors that coordinate perfectly, by the way, with the Magical Memories collection just looks so great, and it really sets the tone for the spread. You can find all of the colors linked in my video notes that I used here, so be sure to check those out. So I'm adhering my 3x4 photo over on the left with just regular, tape runner. I'm grabbing these are the Title Builder Volume 6 die cut words, and these are great because you have black and you have silver foil. So my title is going to be Wish Not Granted, and it's kind of a funny story. Something that was not very magical was that the It's a Small World, which has it turns into It's a Small World holiday for Christmas in California. It actually flooded, so it flooded out all the mechanicals, and we were praying that it would be up in time for our trip. And it was rumored to open on the last day of our trip, and it didn't. So we were kind of sad. So that's what my journaling talks about up there. I added that directly to my grid. I just, scanned in my piece of grid paper, added my journaling in Photoshop, and then printed that directly on there. It's a funny story. We really love It's a Small World holiday. We think it's the greatest thing ever. So here, before I put on anything else, I was going to put my photo down, and then I realized I hadn't punched my holes. I'm using my Crop-A-Dile here to punch those holes to make sure that I have those in the right place. And to do that, I'm using a page protector from my Life Crafted album. That's what I'm putting this in to make sure that I have those holes in the right spot. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the holes in place before you add any of your embellishments, or you could be punching through something you really love, especially a photo. You definitely don't want to punch through your photos. And luckily, my journaling was lined up perfectly with those holes, so it didn't cut off any words. So that was perfect. So I thought that I needed some color behind my not word, which I added with the Parker black cardstock alphabet, and that coordinates perfectly with this collection. So I added that pink label, and those are the Magical Memories label stickers. So those coordinate perfectly with all the colors in the collection, and it just adds a little bit of a border around that word, helps it to stand out a bit. And then you have those awesome silver foil pieces there to finish off that title, which I think is quite funny actually. This last day sticker, how perfect does that fit right there? I didn't even plan that. To the left of my journaling, this was the last day of our trip, and we were desperately trying to ride It's a Small World holiday, and the Disneyland gods had a different idea. So this was the first year that we actually missed this ride with its holiday overlay. That's what they call it when they kind of change up the ride for the holidays. But if you haven't been to the parks for the holidays, they do have quite a few overlays that are really fun. So the Magical Memories die cuts have some great pieces in them. This ticket, this yellow ticket, is so perfect. And I'm going to add, the details, the date, the ride to that. And I am going to also stamp a 1 star there because we didn't get to go on the ride. That teal heart is perfect for layering on the photo there. I'm really glad that we got these photos of us. We went up to the ride to double check right before we left to make sure that it wasn't going to open. And another group had done exactly the same thing, so we decided to take pictures of each other in front of the ride that we weren't going to ride on the last day. It's kind of sad. More label fun. I think I definitely can fit this label in up here. It's not really covering up anything important in my photo, and it gives you a really nice place to add another little embellishment. So that heart from the Magical Memories puffy heart and star stickers, that's a perfect one. I love those outline hearts and stars because they really don't take up too much visual space on your projects. So more puffy stickers, more little cardstock stickers just to add a few like sparkles and stuff around the page. Just finish this off. This really was all about the story of the disappointment, but you know what? It's all part of the story of our trip, and I'm glad I got this one documented in a really cute way. And my favorite part was stamping that pattern along the bottom of the Traveler's Notebook. I hope you guys love these products as much as I do, and I hope you get to document your magical Disney memories, whether they're happy or not so happy. Thanks so much for watching, friends, and check out all of the products that I used to create this Traveler's Notebook spread at the link in my video notes. Happy creating!